in your normal non-Christmas life as well. Bring that in and give them some familiarity.
What about if you're traveling, like you're going somewhere and you're leaving your pet behind?
Oh, for sure. So if you're traveling, my top tip is to book your pet sitter early. So make sure that you know who your dog's going to be with and do a trial day. Some people forget to maybe do a trial day, but it can be really helpful to isolate any problems that may occur before you actually have to leave. So if you're leaving your dog with someone for the first time, whether it's a pet sitter or friends or family, just leave them.
A press conference that they had yesterday.
We'll have that story coming up on Here and Now.
Gone but never forgotten. St. Anthony continues to mourn the loss of a missing mother 7 years after her disappearance.
I'm here in New West Valley for a community Christmas concert featuring a lot of local talent, including a woman who will be doing sign language for some of the numbers.
I would love to see people to see just how beautiful our language, American Sign Language, can be, and take it in the mind just what we're capable of doing, what we can do, and hopefully help them understand that they too could learn the language.
We'll have that story coming up.
This is CBC Here and Now.
Good evening and welcome to Here and Now. The City of St. John's is reopening bathrooms at Bannerman Park tomorrow. This announcement came just minutes ago. The washrooms located next to a tent encampment had been closed by the city, it says, due to vandalism. But come tomorrow at 4 p.m., they'll reopen and stay open around the clock. Meanwhile, that tent encampment is growing, and some advocates want details on how a new government task force will help and when. Here Now's Jessica Singer has our top story.
Clothes and towels freezing on a laundry line, tarps, mattresses, and tents covered in a thin layer of snow. For a growing number of people, this is home. It's been almost 2 months since homeless protesters first set up a protest camp outside of the legislature, later setting another here in one of the city's main parks. But it was only yesterday that the provincial government announced what they're calling a new task force on homelessness. Mark Wilson is a housing activist and volunteer. He's been visiting the people here frequently. He says government officials should do the same.
Without stepping foot here and without asking folks that are residents that are homeless or organizers here to be part of that task force, it sort of seems a little backwards to me, doesn't it to you?
He says government needs to give more support to harm reduction teams to resolve the issues that lead to homelessness. He also wants to see people from Tent City represented on the task force. As of now, he says people still don't know what the task force will do.
It has no goals, no established timeline. There is nothing. This task force is nothing except a press conference that they had yesterday.
Doug Pawson is the executive director with End Homelessness St. John's. He says he first heard about the task force yesterday when government invited him to their announcement. He says he's never seen the province dedicate this amount of political will to homelessness, and he's optimistic.
It's long overdue. I mean, whenever we talk about homelessness, we always talk about it as a failure of public systems, and the only thing that combats that is political will to do this. So we're excited that the province and the city and the premier and the mayor are committed to seeing this work through and to work with community and those with lived experience to make this happen.
While the province's task force is getting underway, more people are coming to Tent City, setting up their homes on the snow, and they're wondering what the government is going to do to help them. Jessica Singer, CBC News, St. John's.
A priest who has served multiple communities in Conception Bay has been charged with sexual assault. The RCMP have charged 49-year-old Thomas Offong with 1 count of sexual assault against an adult. This following an investigation by police in Holyrood. Offong has served as a Roman Catholic priest in Avondale, Colliers, and Conception Harbour. He also belongs to the Diocese of Grand Falls. Now today, Bishop Robert Daniels released a statement saying the priest has been relieved of his duties and that the diocese will cooperate fully with the investigation. He says their first concern is the well-being of anyone who may have been mistreated and harmed. He goes on to say, quote, "We are also concerned that the truth will be brought to light. I urge everyone to reserve judgment until then." Fong is expected to appear in provincial court in early February. Well, the union representing RCMP officers says the media coverage of an assault charge against one of their officers, Constable Jeffrey Cormier, is grossly unfair. The National Police Federation believe Cormier put his own safety above others and was doing his job when removing an unruly passenger from a diverted plane at the Stephenville airport in June. RCMP say he was intoxicated and belligerent on the flight. He was later convicted of endangering safety by interfering with passengers and crew. This social media video shows the officer pushing the man against the vehicle and shoving him in the back seat. The Serious Incident Response Team, or CERT, investigated and charged Cormier with assault, but the National Police Federation says talk about the assault charge on social media is unjust.
The fact that it is alleged that you have done something doesn't mean that it's proven beyond a reasonable doubt. There might be enough in CERT's mind to proceed with a charge and proceed with a trial. However, it doesn't mean that there was any wrongdoing. People get acquitted of things all the time, whether it's the police or civilians.
In other news, one of the top Tory organizers in Conception Bay, East Bell Island, is quitting. Daryl Harding is upset with how the party nominated candidate Tina Neary. In an internal letter, he warned it could torpedo the party's chances to hang on to the seat. Here now's Peter Cowan is here with the details. So, Peter, what more can you tell us?
Well, yes, the former District Association president in Conception Bay, East Bell Island, didn't pull his punches in this internal letter, which was sent to the party executive and obtained by CBC News. Daryl Harding won't do an interview, but in the letter, he accuses the party leader, Tony Wakeham, of handpicking Tina Neary as the candidate for the district. For months, he says Wakeham made it clear that he wanted Neary to run to keep the seat for the PC party after the current MHA, David Brazel, leaves. What did he say? Well, let's take a look at the letter. He wrote, "When a party leader totally ignores an entire district association to place a person as a candidate in an upcoming decision of the people, without so much as a phone call to inform and update the district association, that, sir, was the proverbial straw that broke this camel's back." He went on to say, "What incompetent people did you surround yourself with as your advisors, Mr. Wakeham? Did any of them even suggest to you that to tone down your support for this candidate and allow the district to actually have a competitive process to project to the public a keen interest in the party and the district?" Now, the party did have an open nomination. Those nominations were open for 3 days, and Tina Neary was the only candidate, so there wasn't a race. The president of the party, Shane Skinner, sent CBC a statement saying that Tony Wakeham set the date for the nomination but didn't have any other involvement. He wrote, "He believes that no person should have a clear path to a nomination to run for our party without a fair, open, and democratic nomination process," and says the nomination process in this district was independently conducted by the party with no interference from the leader, reaffirming our commitment to our constitutional principles. Now, Harding is facing his own battles. He was suspended from council after allegations of sexual harassment and breaches of the town's code of conduct, but he's predicting that this rift with the party will lead to trouble with the by-election. He writes, "My gut is the Liberals will win and we will lose at least 15 to 20% of our support to Mrs. Churchill and the NDP. You have already made yourself captain of the Titanic. Even now, my heart hopes I'm wrong." David Brazel, the current PCMHA, is set to resign at the end of the month. The government then has up to 60 days to call a by-election. Carolyn?
Thanks so much, Peter. That's Here Now's Peter Cowan reporting live. Friends and family gathered to remember Jennifer Hillier Penny last night in St. Anthony. Jennifer Hillier Penny was last seen 7 years ago at her estranged husband Dean Penny's house on the Northern Peninsula. Close to 40 people gathered at the local Lions Club last night to share pictures and a slideshow and tell stories about her. The community holds a memorial in her honor every year. Organizers say they continue to gather this way to reminisce and remind the public that people are still searching for answers about her suspicious disappearance.
We certainly had some sunshine to start today. Lovely out there in the east anyway, but we do have a little bit of a warm front moving in. It is warming up the temperatures, but it is bringing some weather to parts of western portions of the island at the moment. We've got some shower activity. Higher elevations are seeing some snow as well. And as we head through the night tonight and into tomorrow, generally looking at a little bit unsettled, no significant weather over the weekend, but we are still going to see, a little bit of flurries, a bit of showers in there as well. A couple of parades on the go this weekend, but this forecast is specifically for St. John's as we see the Christmas parade postponed from last weekend at about 1 degree it should be in the afternoon. We may see a few flurries. Those winds will be out of the northwest around 20 kilometers per hour. So if you're planning on taking part, we will be there. I will be there. Come say hi. But you're definitely going to want to bundle up because it's a long parade. We'll talk about the rest of the forecast when I come back.
Well, Newfoundland and Labrador has the highest rate of food bank usage among seniors in the country. It's leaving many feeling vulnerable, but some aren't letting it dampen their spirits. Once again, here's Jessica Singer.
Now, that's the kind of stuff we get from food bank.
Frozen hamburger meat, butter, milk, canned goods. Stephen Hillier relies on food hampers to survive. They get dropped off at his apartment twice a month by the nonprofit group Connections for Seniors. It goes a long way, but it's not enough.
I can't afford to live. I can't get the food I need. I'm struggling with that. I didn't choose to be where I'm at today. So why should I be condemned because I'm here where I'm to in this situation?
So you have your frozen stuff there?
Just my breadcrumbs and all that for my dressing.
Stephen never imagined his life would be this way. He was a home care worker helping people with disabilities, but he's had ongoing health issues like hypertension and kidney stones for nearly 10 years. It's left him with mobility issues and without a job. He's had to move from his hometown in western Newfoundland to be closer to hospitals in St. John's. Instead of doing what he loves, helping others, he now relies on food banks to help himself.
Kind of depressing. I got down. It's like losing something. Meant something to you, a lot to you and stuff. My whole life changed due to that. Got me where I'm to today.
Stephen's not alone. According to Food Banks Canada, Newfoundland and Labrador has the highest percentage of seniors using food banks in the country. The province also tops the country when it comes to the percentage of people aged 45 to 64 using food banks. Stephen is turning 60 next summer. That means he fortunately qualifies for Connections for Seniors food hamper delivery service. For people under the age of 55, there aren't many similar options. The province's seniors advocate recently released a report that highlights the need for a provincial food delivery program. These types of services were introduced during the height of the pandemic, but they disappeared when emergency funding dried up.
We have heard from our community partners in the food charity sector that the number of seniors they serve is increasing, and many are struggling since the ability to deliver food has ended. Some are living on tea and toast.
Stephen is one of those people, but he's not letting it keep him down.
It's not easy, put it that way. It's depressing. Gets depressed over it. But I keep looking at the positive side of it. Things is going to change for the better, and someday it will.
Jessica Singer, CBC News, St. John's.
Cut.
Well, as you heard, the number of people relying on food banks is higher than ever, and the need is even greater during the holidays. CBCNL is partnering with the Community Food Sharing Association to help make the season kind. We'll be live at the Avalon Mall on December 15th, and you can support your local food banks by making a donation online. You can just scan the QR code on your screen there, or you can visit the website cbc.ca/bekind. Well, how many hours have you spent listening to your favorite music this year? As 2023 starts winding down, the music service Spotify is releasing its annual Spotify Wrapped, which breaks down your top listening moments of the year. Our Aoife Alaba swung by the Avalon Mall to ask what's been playing in your headphones.
So Spotify Wrapped just came out. What is your top artist this year?
Zach Bryan.
And how many minutes have you listened to him?
I think it's like 8,000 minutes.
In 1 year?
In 1 year, yeah.
What is your top artist for the year?
Logic, dude.
And how many hours have you listened to him this year?
I can't remember how many I've listened to him, but I've put in 60,000 in total this year.
And most of it is Logic?
Almost all of them are Logic, yeah.
Who's your favorite artist this year?
It would be The National. But my top shows up is Taylor Swift.
And how many hours would you say that you've spent listening to Taylor Swift?
Oh God, I don't even want to think about it. Probably way too many.
What music have you been listening to this year?
Well, you know, old Santa loves to listen to the Christmas music, so Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, Jingle Bells, and of course, Here Comes Santa Claus, because everybody loves that one.
Who have you listened to the most this year?
The Eagles. Conway Twitty, Elvis Presley. I'm a classic kind of guy, dad music, old music. It's my thing, yeah.
Who is your top listened to artist this year?
Taylor Swift. Obviously.
And what is your top song from Taylor Swift?
I think it was Is It Over Now?
So what is your top artist on your Apple Replay or Spotify Wrap?
Top artist was Rema, and top song was Cante by Davido.
And how many minutes did you spend listening to that one song?
That song?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know how many minutes I spent listening to that particular song, but overall, I spent 69,000 minutes listening to music.
Making whiskey is really simple, but like all really simple things, really, really hard.
Well, it's been years in the making, but the Newfoundland distillery is now in the whiskey business too. We go behind the scenes to see just how it's made.
We are the grade 5 Sheldon Upper Gully Elementary, and Maxley's weather is coming up next.
Monday on Here and Now, an exclusive look inside the notorious Grace Hospital nurses' residence. It's been rotting, abandoned more than 20 years, but there's a big reason it's still standing.
We're probably upwards to 1,000 tons of asbestos alone coming out of this building. Is that a lot? That is a lot of asbestos.
A toxic building, looks like a horror movie, and needs a deep clean before demolition. No problem, right? That's Monday, only on Here and Now.
Okay, well, the weekend is here, Ashley. Lots of events on the go this weekend. I'm sure a lot of people wondering what the weather is going to be like.
Yeah, the holiday season officially kicked off today, December 1st. Also, the first day of meteorological winter out there this afternoon. Certainly feels like it in some areas, especially up across Labrador, into the minus single digits, but quite mild, -5 in Lab City. And those temperatures across the island climbing pretty dramatically this afternoon, up to about 5 degrees in Stephenville, 6 degrees in Burgeo. The Rec House area saw around 7. Still not reporting in the Port aux Basques area, but obviously somewhere between 5 to 7 degrees through the afternoon today. You head a little bit further east and it's a bit cooler, only reaching about 2 degrees this afternoon in St. John's, and we still have those single-digit temperatures on the plus side of the mercury up across southeastern portions of Labrador. That's where you're sitting right now. There is a bit of a wind chill out there and a bit of a wind chill across the island as well. The temperatures will warm up, though, the further east we go tonight, but they're going to drop like a rock again for the western areas of the island. As we head through tonight, minus 13 degrees in Lab City, your wind chill feeling more like minus 19, and it is going to be a chilly night for you as well. Taking a look at the current satellite and radar for the west coast anyway, we've got lots of shower activity. Some of the higher elevations are seeing some of those flurries, and this is generally going to be the story as we head through the night tonight. As you can see there, if I stop the picture, some of those whites in there, and that's the snow that we're seeing. So as we head through tonight, that warm front is going to warm those temperatures up the further east we go tonight. On the north side of that, though, that is going to stay quite chilly with the cooler temperatures and also the potential for some snow in the higher elevations and towards the coast of Labrador. This rain will work its way further east through the next couple of hours, eventually reaching the Avalon by the time we get into the early morning, after midnight and early morning hours tomorrow. It's not going to be too much, but still that chance of showers certainly there. And other than that, not a whole lot happening through tonight. We will likely see some clearing skies, though, for those of you in the west. So if you want to check out the northern lights again tonight, there's a chance we may see those yet again. Temperatures, though, if you are heading out to see the northern lights, you are going to want to bundle up. Minus 24 tonight in Lab City. That cold air starting to move a little bit further east. Overnight lows for Happy Valley, Goose Bay, Nain into the minus teens. And then cooling down for the coast, but still quite mild into the minus single digits. And then most of the island, at least through central, west coast, northern peninsula, are seeing those temperatures near or just below zero. And then above zero for Marystown and St. John's tonight. Winds will be gusting upwards of about 40 kilometers per hour. As we head into tomorrow, again, not a whole lot to talk about. We'll likely see some peaks of sun in the mix through central northern peninsula as well. But clouds will be on the increase as the afternoon rolls through. May see a few showers just scraping the south coast of the island as we head into the evening hours. But other than that, there's really not a whole lot in the forecast for the weekend, which is good news. So if you do have your Christmas parades, so the weather looks not too shabby for that. Winds generally light as well across the board. But as far as temperatures are concerned, they should be above zero, anywhere between 2, 3, 4 degrees, maybe a little warmer on the southern areas of the island. And again, that potential for some showers. Now, the best chance for the metro area will be in the morning. The afternoon, we should see some sunshine, but some showers may scrape southern areas of the island as the day goes on. As you head towards central, temperatures between 2 and 3 degrees above zero, and for the west coast of the island as well as the southwest coast. That chance of flurries, like I said, will move in later on in the day, anywhere from 3 to 5 degrees. Now, the northern peninsula, you'll stay below zero tomorrow. Same thing for southeastern portions of Labrador, anywhere from -1 to about -4 as your daytime highs. And some of that cold air is going to creep further east tomorrow. So Happy Valley, Goose Bay, you're down to the minus double digits, but -10 is your daytime high. Sunshine, though, so a beautiful afternoon to be out as long as you're bundled up. And a few flurries, the story for Lab City through the afternoon. Now, like I said, the weather this weekend going to be fairly quiet. We are looking at some snow potential by the time we get into Monday. That should be our next weather maker. I'll talk about that when I come back.
Thanks, Ashley. Well, it's been more than 3 years in the making. This week, the Newfoundland Distillery debuted the very first whiskey produced in Newfoundland and Labrador. We went behind the scenes to look at how it's made and how it tastes.
We're really, really excited to release the first Newfoundland whiskey. And obviously you can tell from my accent, I'm a real Bayman. My name is Peter Wilkins and I am the co-founder of the Newfoundland Distillery Company. When Bill and I set up the distillery initially, the first aim was to make whiskey. But unfortunately, it takes a very long time, so we made gin and vodka and other products instead. In a sense, whiskey is the sort of ultimate spirit. I mean, they taste so different, and a lot of whiskies are made using very similar processes, and it's all made with barley or malted barley, yet the tastes are just extraordinarily different. So if you're making spirits, it's the sort of ultimate one to make, and I guess it's probably the hardest because you'd wait so long for it to mature. Making whiskey is really simple, but like all really simple things, really, really hard. The process is quite straightforward, but you've got to get every stage of it absolutely right. And then you've got to wait 3 years, and you've got to make sure you've got the right barrels. It's easy, but complicated. Every province, in a sense, wants to have its own whiskey. It creates a sort of character for the province, and I know there are a lot of whiskey fans here who have always wanted one, and for us to be able to create the first one for the province, we think it's actually a great honour, and we're thrilled to have done so, and it's there for everybody to share and enjoy.
I'm really enjoying it. It reminds me of an Irish whiskey. It's beautiful. It has beautiful nose on it, and the palate is very good as well. It actually has a nice long flavor in it.
Well, obviously I've tasted it in a very objective way, and we think it's amazing. It's got all the hallmarks of a great whiskey, but we haven't put any peat with it. It's got quite complex character, but surprisingly smooth finish, a little bit of oak, a little bit of vanilla, a little bit of almond, a little bit of butterscotch. I think it's delicious.
So my name is Jeremy Bonia. I'm a sommelier and co-owner of Merchant Tavern and Portage. Honestly, when I heard this was coming, I didn't really know what to expect. Always, for a product coming out of Newfoundland, you hope for the best and prepare for the worst. And thankfully, it was great. It ended up being such a great product. I was very happy with it. It is 3 years old, for one thing. It's very young, so you have to treat it that way and realize that it's not a mature 10-year-old or 12-year-old or older whiskey. You definitely get some of the oak characteristics off of it, but there's still great fruit and great spice. And yeah, it's a great dram. I'm really enjoying it. It drinks like a really good Irish whiskey, and it's not like basic bar level. It's good. It's a proper whiskey.
So we're very excited to release our first batch, which was only about 1,600 bottles. Luckily, we've got more batches coming throughout next year. Starting in February, we've got about 2,500 bottles coming, and we should be able to roll that out every 2 months or so. And then ultimately, in 2025, we've got a single malt coming. Really, this is to everybody and to the province, and to cheers and happy times, and yeah, a great Christmas.
And I was alone. I felt alone for many years.
Ahead on Here and Now, those who were once Innu children in care share their emotional testimonies of being taken away from their home and from family.
A season of giving, a season of kindness. Let's make the season kind for those in need. CBC is helping support local food banks this holiday season. Visit cbc.ca/bekind to find out how you can help.
Well, it's part service and part expression. A Bonavista Bay woman who is hard of hearing will be doing sign language for musical performances in this weekend's Christmas concert. Here Now's Troy Turner dropped by and has this story.
Her hands weave through the notes and lyrics. Expressive, flowing, graceful. She feels each note, each word, but she hears very little.
For me, it was a real eye-opening experience. It makes me feel good that hearing people were able to see something that was beautiful and help bring that awareness to them that could in turn be something educational for them.
Sharon Tarrant was born with 40% hearing loss. Growing up in the tiny community of Lon on the Burin Peninsula was difficult as she tried to adapt to a world of people with full hearing. She went to university in St. John's. It was there she got involved with the deaf community.
As time went along, I decided to take part in the social event and socialize with them. And this one particular day, I went there to a social event and I met up with more people, a larger community, entire deaf community. And I started to hang out with them and learn from them, and they taught me a lot about it.
After learning the language, incorporating music came naturally. Her first public performance was earlier this fall with the Kittiwake Shore Thing in her new hometown of New West Valley.
I felt so inspired. I could feel my heart was hopping really fast, and I just felt like I was showing the community something that was beautiful. That the language itself through music is portrayed in expression, and it just shows the music in a more visual content, and it really touches people.
It went over really, really well. So she contacted me when she heard about the Christmas show, and she volunteered her time, and she just came on board with us, and we're more than happy to have her sign for one or even two of our songs.
This weekend's show, Home for Christmas, will feature several musical numbers, some sketch comedy, and a few soloists.
It's awesome. I mean, the way that Sharon connects to the audience with her sign is just so graceful and beautiful, and the audience can feel, I think, what she's feeling at the same time, and the musicians as well. I mean, we all feel the same kindred spirits, I guess.
The audience will feel each note and follow each sign. Well, most of them. For Tarrant's partner and others with hearing loss, they will follow her lead, one lyric at a time.
I would love to see people to see just how beautiful our language, American Sign Language, can be, and taking in the mind just what we're capable of doing, what we can do, and hopefully help them understand that they too could learn the language and acquire the same skill and be able to communicate more effectively between the hearing world and the deaf community.
It's last-minute rehearsals for the 3 shows, which begin tonight here at the Lions Club. Following that, Sharon Tarrant says she'll continue to sign when asked, whether it's through church events or community concerts that take place here in the New West Valley region in the future. Troy Turner, CBC News, Badgers Key.
The inquiry into the experiences of Innu children in care has wrapped up in Natwashish. People spoke to the commissioners throughout the week. One of them was Monique Panashaway. She was taken from her home and her family in Labrador to live with white people in North Bay, Ontario. Here she is sharing some of her experience and a warning: this contains some distressing testimony.
When I was in the room, I just thought of back home and when I'm gonna see my people, or when I'm gonna see my friends, when am I gonna talk Innu. And I was alone. I felt alone for many years. There was no comfort or friend or brother or grandma. There was no one. There was only white people. I was alone for many years. When I got to the Ontario, I asked the worker. She must have been the boss of the system, and I asked her, "How far am I?" I wondered that if I run away, would I make it home? And they showed me the map, and the Labrador home in Ontario was so far away. I had every of that. I had everything when I was home before they took me.
crippling grocery bills, unaffordable rent, gas tanks that are always half empty. We're in a cost of living crisis, and it's taking a toll on families, students, and average earners. Join us for a new series as we meet people in this province juggling multiple jobs to make ends meet, burning long hours just to cover the basics. The Grind airs Mondays on Here and Now.
King Charles delivered the keynote address today at the UN COP28 Climate Summit in Dubai. He told world leaders the dangers of climate change were no longer a distant risk and that alarming tipping points are being reached.
I pray with all my heart that COP28 will be another critical turning point towards genuine transformational action at a time.
The king said the global economy is in peril unless the environment undergoes rapid repair. The summit scored an early victory yesterday. Delegates agreed to create a new climate disaster fund to help developing nations cope with costly extreme weather events. Government leaders and high-level officials from nearly 200 countries are gathered for the annual climate talks that run until December 12th. Winnipeg police have made an arrest in connection with a deadly mass shooting last week that left 4 people dead and 1 in critical condition. 32-year-old Jamie Randy Felix is in custody. He's facing 4 counts of second-degree murder and 1 count of attempted murder. Homicide investigators say they reviewed video and interviewed a number of people. Police responded to a home Sunday to find 5 people suffering from gunshot wounds. 5 people in the rooming house were shot, 4 died, and a 5th victim is still in critical condition. StatsCan says the economy added a modest 25,000 jobs in November. The agency's labor force survey shows the unemployment rate ticked up 5.8% last month. That's around pre-pandemic levels. But the jobless rate is expected to continue rising as higher borrowing rates weigh on businesses. The weaker job market also means more workers are finding themselves unemployed due to layoffs. The report says unemployed people last month were more likely to have been laid off compared with a year ago. And staying with jobs, a family doctor who signed an agreement to work for 10 years in a northern Manitoba community but left within 2 has agreed to repay a $100,000 loan she got as a recruitment incentive. The doctor says she has continued to provide care to patients virtually from Vancouver. Karen Pauls has more.
This northern Manitoba town is where Dr. Andrea Wilson agreed to work for a decade. Court documents show she signed a $100,000 loan agreement with the PAW Community Development Corporation in exchange for at least 880 clinical hours every year between 2020 and 2030. But the lawsuit against her claims Wilson left the PAW after only 16 months and moved to Vancouver, breaching the agreement. Wilson disputes that, saying her primary residence was in the PAW until January 2022. She says the agreement doesn't restrict work outside of the PAW and doesn't specify where she must live. The Development Corporation asked her to repay the loan by last December, but Wilson says the 2 sides couldn't agree on how many hours of clinical service she provided through virtual care until this last week. She has now agreed to pay the balance owed, a lump sum payment of $100,000 by December 31st. Once the money is received, the lawsuit will be dropped, confirms Jonathan Patterson, the Development Corporation's lawyer. Wilson says she has been taking care of patients virtually from Vancouver, but she's not working right now because she's caring for a sick family member. No one from the Northern Regional Health Authority could be reached to confirm what kind of service she is providing to patients in the PAW. Karen Pauls, CBC News, Winnipeg.
The Mummers are planking her down at an annual Janny Jamboree. Watch a fabulously folksy festival, Sunday at 11:30 and Monday at 7.
Well, it's Friday, so let's find out who's celebrating. Happy 60th anniversary to Cliff and Evelyn Thomas of Grand Falls, Windsor. Congratulations to Sue and Dale Haynes of Lewisport. They're celebrating 50 years of marriage. Happy 63rd anniversary to Junior and Marion Bailey of Grand Falls, Windsor. Wishing Jim and Shirley Tapp a happy 61st anniversary. Happy 59th anniversary to Dennis and Yvonne Thistle of Appleton. Audrey and Wesley Keats of Dildo are marking 55 years of marriage. Happy 65th anniversary to Jim and Shirley Mosier of Corner Brook. Best wishes to Alf and Lori Chislett of Anchor Point. It's their 65th anniversary. Happy 61st anniversary to Margaret and Eric Diamond in Torbay. Congratulations to Dougal and Doreen Park of Meadows on their 59th anniversary. Happy anniversary to Norman and Gloria Leto. They are marking 61 years of marriage. Happy 56th anniversary to John and Patricia Boland of Newtown. It's a 60th anniversary for Donald and Vera Parsons of Dover. Wishing Bonnie and Don Walsh of Gander a happy 50th anniversary. 51st anniversary greetings going out to Gerald and Brenda Skiffington of St. John's. Happy 61st anniversary to Ron and Patsy Bavis of Paradise. Scott and Mildred Daw in Gander have been married 71 years. Congratulations. Happy 58th anniversary to Wes and Florette Thompson of Harbor Grace. Anniversary greetings going out to Eric and Jean Boyd, who are celebrating 56 years together. Happy 50th anniversary to Phil and Lila Riggs of Glovertown. Now to some birthdays. Happy birthday to James Pendergast, who's turning 90. Happy 92nd birthday to Jim Gulliver of Portugal Cove. Best wishes to Fern Murphy in Corner Brook on her 93rd birthday. Wishing Doris Moland of Mount Pearl a happy 90th birthday. Birthday greetings going out to Patrick Aylward of Port au Choix, who's turning 90. Mary Malloy of St. Shots is celebrating her 93rd birthday. Birthday greetings going out to Cora and Lloyd Wiseman of Springdale. Cora is turning 90 and Lloyd is turning 91. Happy 90th birthday to Vicky Stiles in St. John's. Birthday greetings going out to Bertha Melendi of Mount Pearl, who just turned 97. Happy 95th birthday to Hertha Blackwood in Glovertown. Best wishes to Muriel Hart. She's celebrating her 97th birthday in Paradise. Happy birthday to Dorothy Hillier. She's turning 94. Wishing Eileen Ledrew of Traytown a happy 90th birthday. Happy birthday to Vera Pico, who's turning 103 on Monday. She's celebrating in Mount Pearl. And happy birthday to Hazel Bursey of Clark's Beach. She turned 104 yesterday. 104, my goodness.
Incredible.
Hope you had a wonderful birthday, Hazel. Okay, so we're into the long range now, looking ahead to Sunday. In particular for us, like the Christmas parade, wondering how that's going to be in downtown St. John's. I know there are lots of events happening on the weekend.
There are. Yeah, I know last week it was a bit chilly for the potential for the parade, but today, on Sunday, it actually looks pretty nice. It's not going to be nearly as cold. But we start looking at the chance of a few flurries. Let's jump right into it across the board. It is going to be quiet for the most part as we head through the afternoon. In fact, we should see some sunshine to start. Along the coast of Labrador, though, you are going to see that chance of flurries just scraping the coast into the afternoon hours as well. But clouds will generally be on the increase. We are in that northerly flow. We'll probably see a few flurries here and there all along the northeast coast, including the metro area. So don't be surprised to see that. But overall, those temperatures will be relatively okay. 1 degree is what we're looking at through the afternoon. And otherwise, the rest of the central areas and the west coast, we'll see those temperatures sitting into the minus single digits. Along the south coast of the island, those temperatures should stay above zero, anywhere from 2 to about 3 degrees. Hanging on to those minus teens up across Labrador as that cold air grips the big land. You're hovering around minus 13 through the afternoon in Happy Valley Goose Bay. But towards the coast, these temperatures will be a tad warmer. into the minus single digits. That's a little bit above where you should be sitting this time of year, in fact. And as far as the winds are concerned, not a whole lot, upwards of maybe 20 kilometers per hour. That will be where we should top off. For Saturday evening into Sunday, Monday, this is when our next weather maker will move in. A bit of disagreement with this one at this point, but it does look like things will start as we head into the morning hours along the south coast of the island and spread north. At this point, looking like snow again for this specific track. And we could see some accumulating snow with this in excess of 10 centimeters. So we're certainly going to have to keep an eye on this one. And as far as the track is concerned, it's keeping us in snow along southern areas of the Avalon, though this may change over to some freezing rain and then maybe even some rain. So definitely, if you have any travel plans on Monday, you're going to want to keep an eye on the forecast as you head through the weekend. Temperatures should sit around zero or a little bit below zero through central, northern peninsula, Labrador. Again, you're hanging on to those cooler temperatures for central and western portions of the Big Land, but towards the coast, you're still into the minus single digits. Long range forecast showing temperatures hovering near or just below zero, and the potential, like I said, for snow that will continue into Tuesday. And Wednesday, we should see those clearing skies with a daytime high around -1 and our overnight lows into the minus single digits. Now for central Newfoundland, light snow on Monday, Tuesday, flurries, and Wednesday, we're looking at a daytime high around -1, but note your overnight temperatures as we get into Wednesday, starting to get in some of that cold air, -16 overnight. Western Newfoundland will see a similar forecast as far as those temperatures are concerned in the overnight on Wednesday, but some flurries certainly possible both Tuesday and Wednesday. Now for Labrador, minus double digits by Wednesday, a bit of a warm up, and that's also when the chance of flurries will return a little earlier for those of you in Lab West, though. But a nice stretch of weather both Sunday and Monday, and we'll see some flurries on your Wednesday as well with your temperature around -9. Now, weather picture of the day, a beautiful shot of Cobbler's Path there after the snow. Christian shared that lovely shot with us. And if you have any weather photos, you can send them to my Facebook page or email them to nlphotos@cbc.ca.
Oh, beautiful shot. Just love it. Thank you so much, Christian, for that picture.
There is nothing better than blue sky after a snow.
Oh yeah, crisp, beautiful. So we did mention that it's going to be a very busy weekend. Santa Claus parade's happening right across the province. The 68th annual parade is happening in Mount Pearl on Saturday. Corner Brook has its Christmas parade tomorrow too, and so does CBS. And here in St. John's, of course, the downtown Christmas parade that was postponed last week probably will go ahead, barring any other unusual events.
It will have nothing to do with the weather, I'll tell you that.
It's looking good. We'll be there for sure, so we'll be there with our colleagues, so please say hello, come over and have a chat if you can. We'd love to see you, and yeah, it's going to be a great parade.
Definitely.
Have a good weekend.
Good night.